Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, your host for Munira's Musings, coming to you. I have a guest today who is very enthusiastic and he is compassionate and he's a veteran. Thank you for your service. You know, we all try, like he was just saying, and you all heard this, we all try to find solutions for other people. We are trying to make this place, this earth, a kind of place where we all can join hands and just share what we are doing. And that's what Munira's Musings is all about, because I saw and I met extraordinary people doing so many extraordinary things, and they didn't think a lot about what they were doing. So I thought I should do something to promote them, to expose them, not in a bad way, but in a way where somebody somewhere needs them. And that's what this show is about. So if you want to be on my show, go ahead and message me, come on my show. Let's talk about your niche, what you've done, how you got there, because that journey is so amazing. It's so interesting that I want to learn about it. And your journey will inspire somebody else to get out of complacency. I am the niche navigator. I help people find their niches. And so if you're stuck in life, go ahead and nudge me. I'll come help you out. That's what I do, because it's all about helping people. And if I wouldn't be here if somebody hadn't inspired me. And it's all about inspiration, its perspective, and its help. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest today, John Krotec. Hi, John. How are you?
Hey, Munira. Thank you for having me. We're quite a few miles from each other, but the technologies of today make it so good. And you couldn't have said it better. We all have a story to tell, and we're here to talk about solutions of how we can make the world a better place. So I've watched your show several times, and you've had great guests, and I feel privileged and honored to be here myself. So thank you.
Thank you. So let's start with the first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, our time's limited, and you get me going on coffee, it could be forever. But I was born and raised, I was born in Germany. I'm an Army brat. You mentioned veteran. My dad was in the service. He had 4 children. I was the third one. I was the oldest son, 2 older sisters, 1 younger brother. And after his tour of duty in Europe back in the 50s, I was born in 1959. I just turned 60. I don't feel it. I came back, was raised in Florida primarily, went off to the university, Florida State University, got my degree in corporate management for hotels, and did that for a few years after graduation, and found out that that wasn't really where my true heart was. And so I knew that the United States Army, I thought if I ever was going to serve, I was going to do it now. So I was a late bloomer. I think I always am. And joined the service, served my country for 3 years. Back in the day, you could join 2, 3, and 4 years. Came out, started a business with the woman that I've been with for the last 30 years. We started business together, decided not to go back into corporate management, but to start my own business. And we did that quite successfully for 23 years through a few different presidencies, economies that went up and down, and, all those kinds of things. And I thought I had it figured out. I literally thought I had it all figured out. We sent 2 boys through the university, college. And then in 2012, my life took a turn. I was involved in an accident, and alcohol was involved, and 42 years of a hidden dark secret came out. I was a childhood assault recipient when I was 11 years old. And it was a secret that I had hidden for a long, long time. And the trauma of the accident unleashed all of these bad things. And within 2 years, my wife didn't want to work with me anymore. She says, we're done. It forced the sale of our small business, which I totally loved. We sold backpacking gear and equipment, and I was a guide in the Andes to South America for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And then a couple of years after that, She didn't want to be married to me. I was literally out of control with a traumatic brain injury and thoughts and things that I hadn't dealt with for over 4 decades. So in a moment of desperation, I called a crisis center with everything around me tumbling down. And through a lot of hard work, through cognitive behavioral therapy, a lot of meditation, a lot of yoga, a lot of CBDs, cannabidiols to help with the brain injury, some speech pathology. I saved my marriage, and I'm creating some initiatives and some companies that have great social value, not only in human value, but also in commercial value. One of them is Green Zone Hero. I also do a podcast called Straight Outta Combat. And I'm working on another project called Task Force Send and What's Your Apocalypse. So a lot there, but there's a lot to do. And, you know, and you mentioned it so eloquently, you know, that finding solutions to making the world a better place is what I'm all about now. I know that there's great power in network and finding your niche, what you talk about, and truly finding some level of authenticity that you can translate to others and help others.
You know, I like the fact that you took out all these and you sought help. There's so many people who don't seek help. There's crisis centers out there that need help, that help people, but people who need help don't ask for help.
There's a book out there that I finished recently called The Unspeakable Mind. And it's by a woman, very accomplished lady. Her name is Dr. Sheila Jane. And she talks about the traumas, not only cultural traumas, but personal traumas that affects every human being on the face of the planet. And she offers anecdotal remedies, but also case studies to show you that none of us are alone. You know, life to me at 60 is so much more fascinating than it was hiding a dirty, dark secret and living a life in the shadows. Looking good on the outside, but on the inside, you're angry, you're resentful, you haven't dealt with the traumas of your past, and you can never, ever, ever live a fulfilled life by living in the shadows.
That's true. You're so right.
It's about us. It's about people, and that's part of the puzzle that each of us are trying to piece together.
And so to bring you back into what you were saying, you know, that you were out there, you were creating waves, and then you had to bring yourself back into reality. And I like your title. You said you're an advocate for humankind and commerce and something else you said.
Education.
So tell me, how do you advocate humankind? I mean, there's humans everywhere, like you said, on this planet. And everybody is culturally and it's so different, but yet so alike. How do you become an advocate, and what are you doing to make that happen?
Thanks for that question. You know, I don't know where statistics come from, but they're out there, and you can do the research yourself. You can Google this and Google that, and you can read but what I've read is that 75 to 80% of the global population has been traumatized. Now, it doesn't have to be, it can be the loss of a loved one. It can be the loss of your career job. It can be combat. It can be sexual assault and abuse. It can be financial ruin. It can be divorce. And, you know, when you think about 75 or 80%, that's like over 5 billion people on the face of the planet, 5 billion that have had something happen in their lives that they may or may not have dealt with in a constructive manner.
Okay. And
then you have 35 to 40% that have been traumatized multiple times. So whether we believe it or not, and I do believe it, or whether we want to accept it or not, we live in a global situation where the population is broken on some level.
Okay.
The only way, and, you know, Vishen Lakhiani that does the Mind Valley, you know, he talks about the culture scape and these cultures that mold us into expectations, who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be it. And you got a red car, I got a green car, you know, and you mentioned it, that we don't really live who we are. We live a life based on the expectations of the culture around us. And every single human being, I remain convinced, on some level, has a creative side to them. They have desires. They have dreams. They have hope. And unless we find ways to network that hope, and we are, like with your show, and then we are truly not part of this human existence. The battle in your life, the war, is not outside of yourself with other people. The battle is within. And the minute you lay your weapons down, you can begin the journey of self-actualization, self-discovery. You can learn who you are. I mean, living proof that they work. The thing that I've learned, despite some of what you read about how easy this is, ladies and gentlemen, anybody listening, watching, Munira and myself, it is not easy. It's not
impossible.
Yes, it is the hardest thing. And I've climbed mountains 6,000 meters and up. It's the hardest thing in your life is to self-actualize, especially if you're dealing with trauma issues. And, you know, rape is not fun. Losing your dream job, getting divorced from the person you may have one time loved, all of those things have an effect on you. And it doesn't define you. It just gives you more life experience to find, you know, to look for ways to find solutions. And I want to take my hardships that have happened. Look, I've got all my teeth. I'm educated. I'm healthy as much as I can be. I eat right. I want to take these things that I'm totally grateful for and help those people out there who might need a little bit of guidance. I don't think I'm an expert. I have no shingles on my wall other than a few things that I've gotten. But I do have some experience in life, and I want to use that experience in a sincere, honest way in business and on a personal level to help you realize who you are. And you have more strength than you think you do. It starts with humility. It starts with loving who you are, at least starting out liking yourself. And then from there, you can build on that. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, younger adults, whoever's listening or watching, if you have a desire to turn your life around and to fulfill it with all of the great things that lie inside of your heart, you can do it. And people like Munira and the network she has and our network, there are people out there that want to help. And I call the suicide hotline, I mean, the crisis hotline, the lady on the other end of the phone, they literally talked me off the ledge because I was ready to go. I didn't want to be here. I was losing my wife. Everything was crumbling. There are people that want to help. And she told me, we can't save your marriage, but we can save you. And that was all I needed to hear. And 27 weeks later, through some excruciating self-introspection, I slowly started to climb out of that hole. My wife had her attorney. I had mine. We were locked in this divorce. And on November 16th, 2016, I will never forget it, Munira. I got this card in the mail. Gives me goosebumps, makes me want to. It literally said, I have seen a big change in you, John. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I contacted my attorney today and I've called off the divorce. Let's make this work. It doesn't mean that the bells and whistles came out and life all of a sudden was hunky-dory and I'm dancing around with cake and all this. But what it meant was I had another opportunity. The universe had given me an opportunity. And you know what? For the first time in my life, regardless of anything I've ever accomplished or failed at doing, I felt like I had earned something at an authentic level that could never be taken away. I earned the right to work on my marriage. And my wife, with all the pain and anxiety she had about her future, was giving me that chance. And that's all I needed.
The thumbs up, right? We can do it.
Thumbs up.
You know, and that's such a compelling story. It gives me goosebumps also, because the thing is, nobody gives you a second chance unless they believe in you. But the second chance from somebody else comes when you give yourself that first chance. So if, we are so hard on ourselves, we always put ourselves down. And that's one thing that we don't teach our children or grandchildren or the generation next to us, because we're hard on them too, because that's how we learned it. We need to be easy and have them, and the kids maybe are different these days, because I have a granddaughter. You tell her I love, and she'll always say me. She'll never say you. Say, do you love me? She'll say yeah. She'll say I love, and you expect her to say you, and she'll never say you. She'll say me. And it's like, first I thought, what is that? But that actually opened my eyes to a different look, to a different look, and a second look at, if she is just a year and a half old kid who is just saying that I love me, maybe we all need to say that. Because if we accept ourselves the way we are, then I think other people can give us a second chance. That's the bottom line.
Well, I love the way you put that. You're so right. It's so cliche, love yourself, love others, but it begins with that single concept and practice of love. And then gratitude and all those other things fall into place. But without love in your heart, and your granddaughter, unbelievable, because you can see that quality in such a young, tender human being. And that's what I'd like to be. It's somebody that truly loves others.
Yeah.
The truth is we have this free will, this mind that's been given to us by the universe to make our own choices. And if you choose hatred, there's a thing called karma, or whatever you want to believe. I think that comes back to you, not maybe in direct ways, but in indirect ways. But if you choose love and gratitude and helpfulness and gentleness, I believe, doesn't mean you can't be tough when you have to be. I believe you're stronger when you love than when you hate.
You're right. You're so right. This show is about bringing all kinds of people together. It's like I've got friends everywhere, and I want to go and just visit them and feel them and touch them. And that's what curiosity is all about. But the thing is, even though we live in a different place, in a different continent, in a different home, in a different, big home, small home, doesn't matter where we are humans. We have incredible opportunities. There's so many similarities between cultures and everything else that, so maybe that's what's missing. But if you like this show, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, because you know what? We'll have another guest and with another perspective, and it's all about the perspective. So share your comments, like us, and John, I really appreciate it, because what you've done is you've also opened up my eyes today, because, oh my God, so many different things and so many different views. I'm going to have to read this again, look at it again, and see what am I missing here. So, but it starts from within you. So keep that in mind.
Well, thank you for that, Munira. You're on an incredible journey. You're inspirational. You're giving people opportunities to show their perspectives, and people listening to your show, watching, you're entitled to those perspectives. And, if everybody thought like you and me, the world might be a beautiful place, but then it might be boring. So, without all these pieces to the puzzle, life would be pretty boring, and life is full of amazing opportunities. I don't know how much time we got, but I got like 4 quick things.
Go ahead.
Okay. For anybody, read what people have done to turn their lives around. Doesn't mean you have to follow what they did. It just gives you more perspectives. Use what works, and what doesn't work, it's okay, because you're different. Use your intuition. Don't forget your intuition. So many times we don't use that. If something doesn't feel right, or you don't want to do something, then don't do it. If something feels right and you want to do it, then do it. Tap into your intuition. And then what you're doing here on such a significant way, talking to people all around the world, build relationships with authenticity and with sincerity with other human beings. Because without the human connection, we're using technology, I get that, but without this visual and feeling your energy, it's not going to work. So kudos to you for using modern technology for making the world a better place. And then there are no magic pills. It takes hard work. There's no magic technological pill. There's no magic program. Adjust fire is what we say in the Army. Once you start to execute your personal plan and things come up, which they always will, adjust fire, make the changes so that you can morph aligned with your core value set so you're not getting too far off track. And if you make mistakes, get back on track. You're going to make mistakes. That's what humans are all about. We haven't lived this life before. So make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Like you said earlier, Munira, you did say this, I think you did, about how hard we are on ourselves. Lighten up. Show some personal compassion. And again, I'm very humbled and very privileged to be still alive. You know, I could have killed myself in that accident or maybe somebody else. I'm very fortunate that my wife saw something. And I'm so glad to my ancestors for allowing me an opportunity to use these skill sets to help others. You know, without that dream and them crossing the oceans on boats, I wouldn't be here. And so they came here with nothing. I have a nice home, and I'm just so grateful to have. It's all temporary anyways. I'm just grateful to be here and to be able to tell people my story. And I hope it helps somebody out there. And if you want to contact me, just, you know, john@greenzonehero.com. You can also reach me at jkrotec59@gmail. My phone number is 941-400-7333. You can call me anytime. Now I'm at Eastern Standard in the US, so, and I'm old, I'm 60. So don't call me after 11 o'clock at night, my time. But if it's an emergency, drop me an email, leave me a message, text me. I really would like to help you, at least maybe give you some guidance. And if I can't do it, I can turn you on to people like Munira and her network of true believers in humankind to help you out. So that's a lot, but thank you.
There you go, folks. So you have it there. Go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, John, for being on Munira's Musings. This has been a very a very good opportunity for us to talk. We should do something like this again, and have a nice day.
You too. Thanks, Munira. God bless.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group